Let no one worry you is a truth rooted in the profound realization that all power, all peace, and all answers lie within. Neville Goddard taught us that the external world is merely a shadow of the internal state. When you allow another's actions or words to disturb you, you are giving them authority over your own creation, your inner kingdom. You are the operant power. This statement is not just a motivational phrase, but a fundamental truth about the nature of your being. It means that everything you experience in life, whether you perceive it as good or bad, is a result of your own consciousness. There is no force outside of you that has the ability to shape your reality unless you give it permission. This understanding is both liberating and empowering, because it puts the responsibility for your life entirely in your hands. To grasp the essence of being the operant power, you must first recognize that your reality is shaped by the beliefs, thoughts, and emotions you hold within. The outer world is simply a mirror reflecting the state of your inner world. If you believe that others have the power to upset you, make you feel small, or cause you worry, you are effectively relinquishing your authority to them. But when you understand that no one can impose anything on you without your agreement, you begin to see how much control you truly have. Consider a simple example: someone criticizes you harshly. In that moment, you have the power to interpret their words in any way you choose. You can accept their criticism, letting it pierce your confidence and disturb your peace, or you can choose to see their words as a reflection of their state of mind, rather than your own. The event itself holds no meaning until you are sided one. This choice is where your power lies. You are the creator of your experience, not a passive participant in it. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that external circumstances are responsible for your feelings. Perhaps you've been told that a stressful job, a difficult relationship, or financial struggles are the reason for your anxiety or worry. But if you examine closely, you'll find that it's not the circumstances themselves that trouble you, it's your perception of them. Two people can experience the same situation and respond entirely differently because their inner states are not the same. The one who knows they are the operant power will approach challenges with a sense of calm and assurance, knowing that they can alter their inner state and consequently their outer reality. Being the operant power also means taking full accountability for your life. This doesn't mean blaming yourself for every perceived setback or hardship, but rather understanding that your reactions and assumptions shape the course of events. If you constantly focus on problems, you amplify them. If you dwell on worry, you create more situations that provoke worry. But when you shift your focus to solutions and outcomes you desire, you align yourself with a different reality, a reality that matches your inner state of calm, confidence, and certainty. Neville Goddard often emphasized that imagination is the key to transforming your life. To live as the operant power, you must harness your imagination deliberately and purposefully. Every time you worry or react negatively, you are using your imagination against yourself. Instead of envisioning outcomes that uplift you, you dwell on worst-case scenarios, feeding energy into fears that may never materialize. But the same imagination that fuels worry can also be used to create peace and joy. By imagining yourself in the state of already having what you desire, you take control of your inner world, and the outer world must conform to it. The concept of being the operant power is not about suppressing emotions or denying challenges. It's about recognizing that your emotions are signals, not dictators. They indicate where your focus is and invite you to shift it if it's not serving you. If you feel worried or anxious, it's an opportunity to pause and ask yourself, what am I giving my power to? Where am I placing my attention? When you answer honestly, you often find that the worry stems from a false belief, one that assumes you are at the mercy of circumstances. Living as the operant power requires practice and vigilance. It's not a one-time realization, but a moment-by-moment choice. Every situation, no matter how trivial or significant, is an opportunity to exercise your power. Each time you choose to respond from a place of calm and self-assurance, you reinforce the truth of your power and weaken the hold of worry and fear. It's a process of reconditioning your mind to recognize that you are not a victim of life, but the master of it. When you truly embrace this principle, you start to see the world differently. Situations that once caused distress no longer have the same effect. You begin to approach life with a sense of detachment, not in the sense of apathy, but in the sense of knowing that no event has the power to define you unless you allow it. This detachment is freedom. It's the ability to remain centered and composed no matter what happens around you. No one can impose worry on you, it's self-chosen through attention. This idea might seem surprising at first because we are conditioned to believe that worry is a natural response to external situations. We often feel justified in worrying about things beyond our control, finances, relationships, health, or the state of the world. But when we look more closely, we realize that worry is not something inflicted upon us. It is something we create and sustain by focusing our attention on fear, uncertainty, and negative possibilities. Your mind is like fertile soil, and your attention is the seed. Whatever you water with your focus will grow, whether it's a vibrant garden of solutions and peace or a tangled mess of anxiety and despair. Worry takes root and thrives when you give your attention to potential problems instead of solutions. It's not the event itself that causes distress, but your decision to dwell on it, analyze it endlessly, or imagine the worst possible outcomes. Attention is the energy source that keeps worry alive, and by withdrawing that energy, you starve it. Imagine being in a room with a flickering light. If you stare at the light, its unsteady rhythm will likely irritate or frustrate you. But the moment you redirect your gaze elsewhere, the flickering loses its grip on your mind. The same principle applies to worry. When you fixate on what could go wrong or what seems overwhelming, you amplify its presence in your mind. However, when you consciously choose to shift your focus, the intensity of the worry begins to fade. This isn't to say that life doesn't present genuine challenges. Situations arise that require thoughtful consideration and action. But there is a vast difference between addressing an issue and worrying about it. Addressing an issue involves clear thinking, decision-making, and a focus on solutions. Worry, on the other hand, is stagnant. It keeps you in a loop of fear and uncertainty without moving you closer to resolution. Worry is a misuse of your imagination, directing it toward outcomes you don't want rather than those you do. The power of attention is often underestimated. Whatever you focus on grows stronger and more vivid in your consciousness. When you worry, you are essentially rehearsing for a future you don't want. You're giving life to scenarios that may never occur, yet the emotional toll feels real because your mind cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined thought and reality. This is why worry feels so heavy and consuming. It's a self-created cycle of fear that feeds on itself, gaining strength with every moment of attention you give it. The good news is that this same mechanism can work in your favor. Just as worry is fueled by attention, so too is peace, joy, and confidence. When you consciously redirect your focus toward positive outcomes, your inner state begins to shift. The act of deliberately imagining what you desire rather than what you fear breaks the cycle of worry and opens the door to solutions and clarity. It's not about denying the existence of challenges, but choosing not to let them dominate your mind. Every time you feel worry creeping in, it's an opportunity to practice this shift. Start by becoming aware of where your attention is. Ask yourself, what am I focusing on right now? Is this focus serving me or draining me? Awareness is the first step because you cannot change what you don't acknowledge. Once you recognize that your attention is fixated on worry, you can consciously redirect it. This redirection might involve visualizing a positive outcome, affirming your ability to handle the situation, or simply taking a deep breath and grounding yourself in the present moment. It's also helpful to understand that worry often stems from a desire for control. When faced with uncertainty, the mind tends to grasp for answers, trying to predict and prepare for every possible outcome. But this attempt at control is an illusion. The future is not something you can manage through worry. It unfolds based on the state of your inner world in the present moment. By choosing to let go of the need to control every detail and instead trusting that you can handle whatever comes, you reclaim your power and release the burden of worry. Redirecting attention away from worry is not a one-time effort, it's a practice. The mind has habits, and if worry has been a long-standing habit, it will take consistent effort to break. But every time you succeed in shifting your focus, even for a moment, you weaken the hold that worry has over you. Over time, this practice becomes second nature. You'll find yourself less inclined to spiral into fear and more capable of maintaining a state of calm and clarity, no matter what arises. Understanding that no one can impose worry on you is profoundly liberating. It means that even in the face of challenging people or situations, you remain in control of your emotional state. Someone else's words, actions, or opinions only have the power to upset you if you give them that power by focusing on them. This isn't about ignoring reality or pretending problems don't exist. It's about recognizing that your attention is a choice. By choosing to focus on what uplifts and empowers you, you take charge of your inner world, and your outer experience inevitably begins to reflect that shift. Inner peace is a decision, not a condition of external circumstances. This statement challenges the widely held belief that peace comes only when everything in life aligns perfectly. Many people spend their lives chasing external conditions they believe will bring them calm financial security, harmonious relationships, recognition, or a problem-free existence. Yet, even when these conditions are met, peace often remains elusive. This is because peace is not something that can be granted by the outer world. It is something you must cultivate within yourself, independent of what is happening around you. The idea that peace is a decision might seem counterintuitive, especially when faced with chaotic or stressful situations. It's easy to think, of course, I'm not at peace, look at everything going wrong, but this line of thinking assumes that peace is a passive state, something that happens to you when circumstances become favorable. In truth, peace is an active choice, a conscious decision to remain centered and composed regardless of external conditions. Your inner state is always within your control, even when the outer world feels overwhelming. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending difficulties don't exist. Instead, it's about choosing not to let those challenges dominate your thoughts and emotions. When you decide to prioritize inner peace, you shift your focus away from the turmoil of the external world and toward the calm that already exists within you. This shift is a powerful act of self-mastery, one that transforms not only how you feel, but also how you respond to life's challenges. To understand this concept more deeply, consider the role of perspective. Two people can experience the same event yet react in entirely different ways. One may become consumed by anger or frustration, while the other remains calm and composed. The difference lies not in the event itself, but in their perspective and the meaning they assign to it. The person who chooses peace understands that they cannot always control what happens, but they can control how they respond. This understanding is key to reclaiming your power and finding peace in any situation. When you rely on external circumstances to bring you peace, you place your happiness and well-being in the hands of forces beyond your control. This creates a sense of vulnerability and dependence, as your state of mind becomes tied to the unpredictable nature of the outer world. But when you decide that peace is your natural state, something you can access at any moment, you free yourself from this dependence. You become less reactive to external events because your sense of calm comes from within, not from the ever-changing circumstances of life. Making the decision to live in peace requires awareness and practice. The first step is to become mindful of the thoughts and emotions that disrupt your peace. Often these disruptions are not caused by the actual events, but by the stories you tell yourself about them. For example, a minor inconvenience like traffic can become a source of frustration if you think, this always happens to me now, my whole day is ruined. But by shifting your perspective, you can see the situation differently, perhaps as an opportunity to listen to music, reflect, or simply practice patience. The event itself hasn't changed, but your decision to remain at peace has transformed your experience of it. Another important aspect of choosing peace is learning to let go of the need for control. Much of the stress and tension people experience comes from resisting what is or trying to force situations to unfold in a specific way. This resistance creates a mental and emotional struggle that robs you of your peace. When you let go of the need to control every outcome and instead trust in your ability to navigate whatever comes, you release this struggle and create space for calm and clarity. Choosing peace doesn't mean you won't face challenges or experience difficult emotions. Life will always present moments of uncertainty, conflict, and loss. However, when you decide that your peace is non-negotiable, you approach these moments differently. Instead of being swept away by the chaos, you become the calm in the storm, the steady presence that anchors you in even the most turbulent times. This inner steadiness allows you to respond to challenges from a place of clarity and strength, rather than fear or panic. One of the most profound realizations about peace is that it is always available to you. It doesn't require a perfect life or ideal circumstances. It only requires your willingness to choose it. This means that even in moments of difficulty, you can pause, take a deep breath, and remind yourself that peace is within your reach. This simple act of choosing peace in the present moment has a ripple effect. influencing not only your own state of mind but also the energy you bring to those around you. The decision to prioritize inner peace transforms how you experience the world. It shifts your focus from what's lacking or problematic to what's steady and unchanging within you. This doesn't mean denying the existence of problems, but approaching them with a sense of calm and confidence that comes from knowing your peace is not dependent on solving every issue immediately. Instead of reacting to life's ups and downs, you become an observer, able to navigate challenges with grace and resilience. What you accept as true internally will manifest externally. This principle lies at the core of how your reality is shaped. The outer world is not a separate, random entity imposing itself upon you. It is a reflection of the beliefs, assumptions, and truths you hold within yourself. What you consistently accept and affirm in your mind becomes the framework upon which your experiences are built. This is not a mystical concept, but a fundamental truth about the relationship between your consciousness and the world you perceive. When you examine the events and circumstances of your life, you will often find that they mirror your inner state. If you believe that the world is full of opportunities and abundance, you are likely to encounter situations that confirm this belief. Conversely, if you believe that life is a constant struggle, or that you are destined for failure, your experiences will align with these assumptions. The external reality is a projection of your inner reality, and what you hold as true internally acts as the blueprint for what you experience externally. To fully understand this, it's important to recognize that beliefs and assumptions are not merely thoughts that pass through your mind. They are deeply rooted ideas that you accept as facts, whether consciously or unconsciously. These beliefs shape the way you interpret events, interact with others, and make decisions. For example, if you believe you are unworthy of success, you may unconsciously sabotage opportunities or hesitate to take bold actions, reinforcing the very belief that you are trying to overcome. Your inner truth dictates your outer actions, which in turn create your external reality. The power of what you accept as true lies in its ability to influence not only your perception of reality but also your responses to it. Two people can face the same situation and have entirely different experiences based on their internal beliefs. If one person believes they are resilient and capable, they will approach challenges with confidence and resourcefulness. The other person, holding a belief that they are weak or incapable, may feel overwhelmed and defeated by the same challenge. The situation itself is neutral. It is the inner truth of each individual that determines their experience. This principle also explains why changing your inner world is the key to transforming your outer world. Many people try to alter their external circumstances without addressing the beliefs that created those circumstances in the first place. They may switch jobs, end relationships, or move to new locations, hoping for a fresh start, only to find themselves facing the same struggles in a different form. Until the internal beliefs are changed, the external reality will continue to reflect them. True transformation begins within. The process of accepting a new truth internally requires conscious effort and deliberate practice. It starts with becoming aware of the beliefs you currently hold. Many of these beliefs were formed in childhood or through repeated experiences, and they operate in the background of your mind without your awareness. Begin by observing your thoughts, feelings, and reactions to various situations. What assumptions are you making? What stories are you telling yourself about who you are and what is possible for you? This awareness is the first step in reclaiming your power. Once you identify a belief that no longer serves you, the next step is to replace it with a new, empowering truth. This is where imagination and affirmation come into play. Imagine yourself as the person you wish to become, already living the life you desire. Feel the emotions associated with this new reality: joy, confidence, freedom, and allow them to fill your being. This act of imagining is not wishful thinking. It is a way of impressing your subconscious mind with a new truth. The more vividly and consistently you do this, the more your subconscious will accept it as fact, and your external reality will begin to align with it. Affirmations are another powerful tool for accepting a new truth internally. When you repeatedly affirm a positive statement, such as "I am worthy of success" or "abundance flows to me easily," you are reprogramming your mind to adopt this belief. The key to effective affirmation is to not only say the words, but to feel them as true. It is the feeling that creates the shift, as it signals to your subconscious mind that this new truth is real. Over time, with persistence and repetition, the old belief fades away and the new one takes its place. It's important to recognize that this process doesn't happen overnight. Changing deeply ingrained beliefs requires patience and commitment. There may be moments of doubt or resistance, especially when the outer reality hasn't yet caught up with the new inner truth. In these moments, it's essential to remain steadfast and remind yourself that the external world is a lagging indicator of your internal state. Trust the process and continue to nurture the new truth within you. The beauty of this principle is that it puts the power of creation entirely in your hands. You are not at the mercy of circumstances, other people, or random events. By consciously choosing what you accept as true, you take control of your life and shape your reality according to your desires. Every moment is an opportunity to affirm a new truth, to rewrite the story you tell yourself, and to create a life that reflects the highest vision of who you are. Redirect your focus from problems to the solutions you desire. This principle holds transformative power, as it shifts your energy and attention away from the things that weigh you down and toward the outcomes you truly want to experience. Most people are conditioned to dwell on their problems, analyzing them, lamenting their existence, and discussing them with anyone who will listen. While this may feel productive in the moment, it often reinforces the very challenges they wish to escape. By focusing on the problem, they inadvertently magnify it in their minds, giving it more power and making it appear larger and more difficult to overcome. The mind has a natural tendency to expand whatever it concentrates on. When you spend your time thinking about a problem, why it exists, how unfair it is, or what consequences it might bring, you are feeding it energy. It grows more vivid and imposing, occupying more mental and emotional space. This focus creates a loop in which the problem seems insurmountable, leading to feelings of frustration, anxiety, or hopelessness. The more you fixate on the problem, the harder it becomes to see a way out, as your mind becomes consumed by the challenge instead of the possibilities beyond it. Redirecting your focus is not about ignoring reality or pretending that difficulties don't exist. It's about choosing to shift your attention to the solutions and outcomes that align with your desires. Every problem contains within it the seed of its own solution, but you can only access it by looking beyond the issue itself. When you focus on what you want instead of what you fear, your mind becomes a powerful tool for creativity and problem solving. You start to notice opportunities, resources, and ideas that were previously obscured by your preoccupation with the problem. The first step in redirecting your focus is awareness. Pay attention to where your thoughts naturally go when faced with a challenge. Do you immediately zero in on the problem, replaying it in your mind and allowing it to dominate your emotions? Or do you pause and ask yourself, what do I want to happen here? What is the ideal outcome? This shift in questioning moves your mental energy away from what is unwanted and toward what is desired. It creates a sense of clarity and opens the door to new possibilities. Once you've identified the outcome you desire, the next step is to focus on it consistently and with intention. This doesn't mean you need to have all the answers right away or know exactly how the solution will unfold. It means holding the vision of your desired result in your mind and trusting that the path will reveal itself. Your job is not to figure out every detail, but to maintain your focus on the solution, allowing your mind to become a magnet for the ideas and actions that will bring it to fruition. A key aspect of this process is managing your emotions. Problems often evoke strong feelings of frustration, fear, or anger, which can cloud your judgment and make it difficult to think clearly. When you redirect your focus to the solution, you begin to replace these negative emotions with more empowering ones, such as hope, determination, or excitement. This emotional shift not only feels better, but also enhances your ability to think creatively and take inspired action. Emotions are energy, and when you align them with your desired outcome, you create a powerful force that propels you toward it. It's also important to recognize that focusing on solutions doesn't mean you have to solve everything all at once. Sometimes the best approach is to take one small step in the direction of your desired outcome. Each step builds momentum, reinforcing your focus and strengthening your belief in your ability to create positive change. Even small actions, when aligned with a clear vision, can have a profound impact. They signal to your mind and the world around you that you are committed to moving forward, and this commitment often attracts additional resources and support. Another powerful way to maintain your focus on solutions is through visualization. Take time each day to imagine yourself experiencing the outcome you desire. See it vividly in your mind and feel the emotions associated with achieving it: joy, relief, satisfaction, or gratitude. This practice not only strengthens your focus but also communicates to your subconscious mind that this outcome is real and attainable. The subconscious plays a significant role in shaping your reality, and when it accepts a vision as true, it begins to work tirelessly to bring it into existence. It's worth noting that redirecting your focus is a skill that requires practice. The mind is accustomed to following familiar patterns, and if your habit has been to dwell on problems, it may take time to train yourself to think differently. Be patient with yourself and recognize that every time you redirect your focus, no matter how small the shift, you are reinforcing a new habit. Over time, this practice becomes second nature, and you'll find it easier to maintain a solution-oriented mindset, even in challenging situations. Ultimately, where you direct your focus determines the quality of your experience. When you choose to concentrate on problems, you remain stuck in their grip. But when you redirect your focus to the solutions and outcomes you desire, you reclaim your power and take control of your reality. This shift not only transforms how you feel, but also empowers you to create the life you truly want. The opinions of others hold no power unless you allow them to. This simple truth is one of the most liberating realizations you can embrace. Throughout life, you encounter countless opinions, some encouraging, others critical, and many unsolicited. Society often conditions people to place significant weight on the approval or disapproval of others, equating external validation with worth and success. However, the moment you internalize that these opinions only matter when you choose to give them importance, you reclaim your freedom and power over your own life. Opinions are inherently subjective, shaped by the individual's experiences, biases, and perceptions. What someone thinks about you is less a reflection of who you are and more a mirror of their worldview. Yet people often mistake these opinions as objective truths, allowing them to influence their self-perception and decisions. When you accept someone else's criticism as a definitive statement about your worth, you are essentially handing over control of your self-image to an external source. This is a choice, not a necessity, and recognizing it as such is the first step toward liberation. Consider the vast number of opinions you've encountered in your lifetime. Some were uplifting, while others were hurtful or dismissive. If you were to take all of them to heart, your sense of self would become fragmented and inconsistent, constantly shifting based on the latest feedback. This instability arises because opinions are often contradictory. What one person admires in you, another might criticize. Trying to please everyone or live up to every opinion is not only impossible but also exhausting. The only way to achieve true peace is to ground your sense of self in your own understanding of who you are, independent of external judgment. This is not to say that all feedback is unworthy of consideration. Constructive criticism offered with genuine intent to help can be valuable for growth and self-improvement. However, the key difference lies in how you process it. Constructive feedback can be assessed objectively, accepted where it resonates, and discarded where it doesn't align with your truth. It's about maintaining discernment and not allowing every opinion to penetrate your core. You have the power to decide what you take in and what you let go of. One of the most freeing realizations is that no matter what you do, people will always have opinions. You could dedicate your life to being kind, hardworking, and ethical, yet someone might still find fault with you. This is not a reflection of your shortcomings, but a testament to the diversity of human perspectives. Trying to control or manage others' opinions is a futile endeavor. Instead, focus on living authentically and aligning your actions with your own values and principles. When you do this, the opinions of others naturally lose their grip on you because you are no longer seeking their validation. It's also important to recognize that opinions often stem from a place of projection. When someone criticizes or judges you, it's often a reflection of their own insecurities, fears, or unresolved issues. For example, a person who feels unfulfilled might criticize your ambitions because it highlights their own lack of direction. Similarly, someone who struggles with self-worth might belittle your confidence to bring you down to their level. Understanding this dynamic can help you detach from the negativity and see it for what it truly is: a projection, not a truth about you. One of the most effective ways to break free from the influence of others' opinions is to cultivate a strong sense of self. This involves understanding your values, strengths, and goals and anchoring your decisions in these foundations. When you are clear about who you are and what you stand for, external judgments become less relevant. You begin to trust yourself more and seek validation internally rather than externally. This shift not only empowers you but also creates a sense of inner peace that is unshakable in the face of criticism. Practicing self-compassion is another crucial step in diminishing the power of others' opinions. When you are kind and understanding toward yourself, you create a buffer against external negativity. Instead of internalizing harsh words, you can remind yourself that you are human, imperfect, and worthy of love and respect, regardless of what anyone else thinks. Self-compassion allows you to treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a dear friend, strengthening your resilience against unwarranted judgment. It's also helpful to set boundaries both internally and externally. Internally, this means deciding which opinions you allow to influence you and which you dismiss. Externally, it involves limiting your exposure to people who consistently bring negativity or whose opinions do not align with your values. Surrounding yourself with supportive, uplifting individuals can create an environment where your confidence and self-belief flourish, making it easier to remain unaffected by unhelpful criticism. Lastly, remember that your worth is inherent and not something that can be granted or taken away by others. It exists independently of praise or criticism, success or failure, acceptance or rejection. When you fully internalize this truth, you become immune to the fluctuating opinions of the world. You begin to see yourself as the creator of your life, guided by your own vision and values rather than the ever-changing judgments of others. This mindset not only frees you from unnecessary worry, but also allows you to live boldly and authentically, pursuing your path without hesitation or fear.